that we've been talking about. And by the way, don't forget about our website, www.billycboxing.com, for all the news that's fit to talk about. But, a lot of discussion has been made of Andre Ward and where his spot is in terms of current pound-for-pound rankings and all of this stuff. Here's the problem. Andre Ward, I don't know, somewhere along the line, back when he did the Super 6 4 or 5 years ago, this guy was at the top of his game. I mean, I was making an argument at the time that I felt that he was the pound-for-pound top fighter over Floyd Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao. Those were the two that were, being considered. And the reason I said it was simple, because of his activity and the level of his opposition that he fought, specifically with the Super 6. I mean, when you break it down and you look at the fighters of today, and I mean in the last 8 years or so, 7 years, arguably the two, at least during the time, the two top fighters that really fought the toughest opposition in their weight class was Andre Ward and Carl Froch. Ultimately they fought each other as well. But since then, Andre Ward has done nothing. He's had injuries. He's had some contract problems and all of that stuff. We're going back to 2011. All right. Well, that after he finally got out of his contract with Goose and Tudor, and quite honestly, I hate to say it, but it was primarily due to the death of Dan Goosen, and the rest of the family just wanted to get him the hell out of their hair. And they cut him loose, and very shortly after that, Rock Nation signs him. Well, since Rock Nation has signed him, this is a guy that, they realize is really tough to deal with. He's fought one time. Bottom line, since 2011, this guy fought 3 times. One of them was in a fight that was a total worthless fight back in the fall, or in the summer, I should say, against Paul Smith in June. Then he was all set to fight on the Canelo Alvarez and Miguel Cotto undercard and pulled out of it, stating some kind of an injury. Now he signs a 3-fight deal where he's supposed to fight 3 fights, culminating with a showdown with Sergey Kovalev on HBO. And so far, he hasn't cut the deal yet. Everybody thought that the fight between him and Sullivan Barrera was a done deal. It's not. Apparently, Andre Ward keeps being the prima donna of himself that he is, and keeps making all demands. And actually, right now, Rock Nation is taking the brunt of it, because promoter from Main Events, Kathy Diva, says, believe it or not, we're still talking, meaning about the negotiations. She says Leonard Hearns, Holyfield Foreman, Whitaker Chavez, all of these fights together didn't take as long as this to make. And this is just Barrera against Ward. This fight has nothing compared to those fights. She says it's literally a different issue every day. It's a wonder that these people, referring to Rock Nation, can put together a 4-rounder, let alone a fight like this. I think that this really puts in perspective what the problem is with Andre Ward. This is a guy that thinks he's real good, and he thinks that he's in the driver's seat, and he thinks that everybody wants to see him, and he wants everything in his favor. I don't get it. He's not a big household name. He's not. We know who he is because we're diehard boxing fans. But most people don't even know who the hell Andre Ward is. That's number one. Number two, he doesn't have ticket selling power. He can't even sell out his own state of California, which incidentally, he doesn't fight anywhere else but California. It's like he's trying to follow the mold of Floyd Mayweather. Although Floyd Mayweather, whether you like him or not, the guy earned where he is in terms of his buying power and his selling power and the demand of the money that he makes. I mean, people that usually are getting into business with him are making something. He gets his cut, of course, but at least he's got the numbers to prove it. Andre Ward does not. Now, the other issue about Andre Ward is quite simply, he may not even be the same fighter. If you're talking 5 years ago, we could have arguably, and we won't see this till he gets back in the ring finally, but arguably the best days of Andre Ward could be behind him. They could have taken place when he hasn't fought in the last 5 years. It's a total joke, and I don't get it. And I certainly don't get where these people are even struggling with this guy. I mean, somebody should just say, forget about Andre Ward and move on. The people that look like the idiots here really is HBO for even trying to get him in the mix. I tell you, my threshold for putting up with his shenanigans is done, really. It really is. But anyway, don't forget about checking out our website, www.billycboxing.com.